Hey, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be showing you how I'm going to refinish my Type Chinese 53 rifle stock. Basically, I'm going to be using this clean strip, hopefully you can see that, to take the old finish off. Then I'm going to sand it down. I'm going to start, I believe it's, I have an 80 grit, and I'm going to finish it up with a 220. And then we're going to go with a Sedona red finish from Minwax. And we'll see how that looks. And obviously I'm not going to show you the whole thing for time-wise. Plus it's pretty boring watching someone, see sand and strip it down. But this is how the rifle looks when I started. Hopefully you can see that. I've already started to strip some of it off already with this stuff, and that's what it looks like. So I already got the front part of the barrel done. Okay, and see what happens. Basically with this stuff, just spray it on. You let it sit for about 5-10 minutes. Go over with some, I want to use some steel wool, very fine steel wool, to try to get some of the stuff off of the stock, and then we'll see what happens from there. Okay, I've let it sit for a couple minutes, so now I'm just going to go over it with the steel wool real quick. And if you see that it's not coming off, you can always respray it on and repeat the process over and over again until you get it off. I'm going to spray a little bit more on. Make sure I got it off and let that sit. Alright guys, we're almost done stripping the finish off the stock. Just got this little bit on the end of it. Now it's still going to look wet only because of the stripper itself is in, on the wood. Other than that, looks like it did a pretty good job. Just going to wipe it down with a rag real quick, and we can start sanding. One thing you want to take into consideration when you start sanding is you always want to sand with the grain. Sand against the grain, you're going to scratch the wood. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start off with an 80 grit sandpaper just to roughen it up. Not going to go too crazy with it because if you take too much off, it's not going to look right. Plus, like I said, there's some markings on the rifle that I want to keep, make it look, it just looks nice. So basically you just want to scratch the surface of it, and then work your way down to, I believe I have like a 220 paper that I'm going to use. And basically just, like I said, go with the grain. Start sanding it. Get whatever's left on the rifle off. Just take a rag, wipe some sawdust off. continue doing this, and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done sanding it. Alright, it's a better lighting. This is outside of my garage. What you can see is this is what the stock will look like once it's all sanded. The other thing I forgot to mention too is if you wanted, you can fill some of these gouges in. I mean, if they were really bad, I probably would have, but you don't have to. They do make a stainable wood filler. I'm not too crazy about that stuff because sometimes it takes, sometimes it doesn't. It's a hit or miss. Because then you'll definitely be able to see exactly where you filled in on the stock itself. So right now we're going to get ready to put the stain on this sucker. Alright, now that all the sanding's done, now we're going to put our finish on it, which, like I said, is this Sedona Red. Let's see how that looks. I'm going to use a rag just to put it on. Pretty much dip it in, wipe it on. Don't have to go crazy with it. Most likely I'm probably going to put maybe 2 or 3 coats on it, depending on what the second coat looks like. With stain, the more you put on, the darker it'll look. So we're going to go 1 coat at a time until we get the right color. And with stain, it's basically you wipe it on, you wipe it off. I mean, you don't have to wipe it off right away. You let it sit, let it soak into the wood. Like I said, the more coats you put on, the darker the stain will look all by itself, so you don't have to really go too crazy with it. And always remember too, start off with a light color, because you can always go darker. You can't do the reverse because it'll never work. Alright, I'll show you the finished product when I'm done. Alright, right here is the end piece of the barrel with the 2 coats of the Sedona Red. Probably going to do 3. It's still a little light. I want to get it maybe a little bit darker. Maybe 1 or 2 more coats and we should be good. Alright, now we got the stain on. I wanted to put 4 coats on. The last coat I basically just, put on. I didn't really wipe it off until about maybe 20 minutes after I put it on. Then I wiped it. Now we're going to get ready to put the, I'm using the fast drying polyurethane by Minwax. Probably just going to put 1 coat on it just to protect the stock. Then should be ready to put the rifle back together and see what it looks like afterwards. This is just going to use a small brush. Put a nice light coat on it. Like I said, just to give it a little protective coating on the wood itself. And when it comes down to this stuff, you don't really got to use a lot of it. Alright, well, like I said, next thing's if this is done, put it all back together and see the finished product. Okay, right now I have the stock hanging from a hook, waiting for the clear coat to dry. Like I said, I only put 1 coat on because I don't think it's really going to need to. I mean, I don't want it too shiny, but I just want at least 1 coat on there to protect the wood. Alright, see what happens when it's done. Okay, and here's the finished product with the gun all back together. Like I said, I used 4 coats of stain, and I only used 1 coat of the clear satin fast drying poly. It's Doesn't give it that much of a shine, but if you look at it, it gives it a little bit, which is what I like. Some people might want a little more, but then you just apply more coats. But this is what I got. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please share it, like it. I'll talk to you later.